It's 2:15. We'll call the meeting to order. And Barbara, are you going to go through this, or Jamie?
Me.
Thank you, Jamie. If you will continue, let's first have the roll call, and then you can proceed.
Thank you, Madam Chair. For the roll call, Lisa Torkelson.
Present.
Elaine Nelson.
Present.
Lauren Lehman.
Here.
Glennis Ireland.
Present.
And Meade was previously excused absence for this meeting. So, Madam Chair, we have quorum.
Thank you very much. Will you proceed?
So I will go over our 99 preliminarily rejected ballots, and we will discuss each of the type that we have to preliminarily reject. There are not a lot of different categories, so it likely won't take us very long to get through the rejected ballots. Most of the categories have zero rejections in them. We did results this afternoon, and we are at 4,547 ballots for this election. And I did not look at the number off the top of my head. I want to say it was 36,600-ish registered voters in this new District 1, and so we feel really sure that the state's election happening at the same time caused a lot of voter confusion. We had a lot of calls to the call center wondering why they were getting ballots, and a lot of explanation about what was happening with a redistricting and why they were getting ballots in the mail now. So we will get right into it. The first code I will show you is ballot return envelopes that were empty or contained other materials. So this first ballot, they both received letters to try to cure them, but there was no ballots inside.
Empty? Or just the instructions?
Put the wrong thing in there. I think I can tell voter intent.
Yeah.
The instructions in there. At least put it on the board.
The next reject code is on the back, and it is postmarked after Election Day. And we have 34 of those.
Good. I asked a question, I'll look at some of them, but are they all clearly postmarked after, or are some of them illegible so you can't tell?
I think they're all clear.
Yeah. Amazing.
34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34. 34.
And what would the date would have to be what?
June 21st.
June 20th, okay.
Yeah.
They didn't take the time to ask the postman. So therefore, it went into after hours.
Yeah. So these are.
And the instructions to people are so good. Same thing?
Yes. A lot of them not AM. So,
Yeah, I don't understand this.
I know when they're
Why they're so careless with something so important. Wow, 3 days. 4 days.
This one does not.
This.
Jamie. Yes. Sorry?
The board up there has 45 days.
I mean, it's been,
So
but
the
it's
board
not.
up there is,
Oh,
And the
where's-
total come in.
but we also have to rescan sometimes for cues and that.
Here's one.
So that's a guess.
I missed it.
That's usually, it keeps us sort of guesstimate, but we have a accountability tracking sheet that the Goldenrod project
Nice
that
try.
keeps us accountable from what's through the fine sort process.
So you receive pretty low percentage.
Yes.
I can understand people dropping it on 5 p.m.
Yeah,
Wednesday, thinking that they're going to get postmarks and they post office 5, 6, 12, midnight.
July
It
2nd.
comes the next day. I understand.
We voted in.
No, some people don't fully understand the post office system.
And do you have to send letters on these also?
Yes.
You do, okay.
Reject letters. They'll be notified after the fact that they're, yeah.
They not only for the ballot, money, you gotta send the notice,
Resend. That's right.
Jamie, do these voters get credit for voting though?
I don't, no, they don't.
They don't.
We do not run them through the
They
sorter
get
because
credit.
they're
Yep. so
postmarked
they're-
after election
Got
day.
it. So they're in the challenged, and the challenged ones don't get credit. The questions do because they have a floppy that goes to the state.
Right.
Okay.
So I double checked and there's still 34. We have 9 voters spelled to sign. Yes.
How we know?
My daughter wants to stay in the West Island.
We still gave them to the state.
And that's what I told her, but she says, yeah. And then I Googled it and took more of the letter and took her to state. Yeah.
These are
No signature. Nine. And they got letters. We said you failed to sign your ballot, so please come in and cure this.
Did any come in at all? None.
These didn't. I don't think I know the total number of no sigs that we had in the beginning.
Okay, thank you.
The next category is the signature not matching on the ballot return envelope. And we have 33 of these. And in addition to a signature verification team reviewing these throughout the election, Barbara and I went through all of these this morning to double check that we agreed that they were not a signature match.
And they too were notified of that.
They were notified, yes, that their
And had the
signature did not
opportunity
match.
to cure.
And had the opportunity to cure, yes.
I think I told you this story the last time, I may have, but I have a friend who's been voting for a long time, just an upstanding citizen, in our community. And he called me, knowing I was on the election commission, and he was rather perturbed because he got a notice that his signature didn't match. And I said, you ought to be grateful that security is that good. Now, you get around town and sometime you've got a few minutes to drop in. Well, he did. He cured it. And then he called me and he said, you know what? I'm glad I did that. Those were the nicest people and they helped me. Yeah. And I said, yeah.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you,
So
yeah.
anyway,
Looks like there's no
feel good
need.
about it. It's,
That's right.
That's good to hear. For you, it was.
I think if you notice on some of the envelopes, you can see where it says emailed or called. So
Yes.
they made, even though all of those people got a letter, they made other efforts to.
Correct. Thank you for reminding me that. If they did provide their phone number or email address, we did reach out to them.
oh my.
It's like it's signed by the same person. That's right.
I know the witness on this one.
Uh-oh.
Well, I mean, they're,
They didn't come in and clear it.
Yeah.
That's.
I think that case it was father voting for son. Or son was probably away at something.
This person signed for these people.
Anyway.
That's what it looks like to me. Look at the A,
It's all the same.
the S.
Is that the SEMA?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This person signed the vote.
Barbara and I, yeah. Then, yeah. When we looked it up, this person signs, it's kind of similar, but they don't connect any of their letters. S-E-M-O are all freestanding, even though it's a
And I
little bit
guess he
cursive.
wanted to do it different, so he
Yeah.
rounded the A and.
Yeah.
This person signed for that person.
That's right.
stuck them in the red cage though, because our other cage is full.
April 5th.
April 5th election. Yeah.
Things
The
happen.
shredding company
Try to
said,
take care of their
you're
minor
scheduled, but you were penciled in and you weren't actually put in the computer system. So we can come on June 30th.
That's not right.
Nope. I'm not going to have a bunch of stuff
Yeah,
shred
it's not right.
in the middle of an election.
You'll
Not
get
going to
caught.
happen.
Right here.
Yeah. So, August 12th. It all goes.
And one of those
August
is I
1
consider
for April 5
a
and June.
very outstanding citizen.
Just
No,
putting somebody
yes,
that way.
yes.
You can tell
Doing
it's
his son a favor. He's away. Oh, I know
Okay, so
this is, in fact, he
these
said,
little
this is
witness.
how I want to vote.
And the secure letters, nobody called the question.
Right. Which makes me just believe that,
Hope they learned something from
like, the
this
witness
experience.
maybe signed, or
That's right, they just kind of,
two people said, you sign and pretend, and I'll witness, and then it'll go through.
Then they're too embarrassed to come down here to cure it because
We totally agree with that they got caught and that's why they don't cure.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
I recognize some people are busy and might not get that email or the mail. But when we're mailing, calling, emailing, it seems that they don't want to cure it.
And the letters that we mail out have an urgent stamp across. It's the envelope with the blue municipality header, and then urgent is stamped across it. So, I don't know, maybe it looks like another credit card company trying to get you to actually open the envelope, but
with many, it shouldn't be.
seems like you would want to
Pay my
open it.
taxes
Yeah.
or something, no.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. There's still 33 there. We have one with no reference signature. This person received a letter. We initially had 3 of them, and yesterday we reached back out to the state, and 2 of them, they had had a signature come in, and unfortunately this one didn't. The voter did also receive a letter and was offered the option to bring in their ID to cure, and they did not, so we have this one.
Curious how many of these are repeaters
From the previous one?
previous election.
I don't know.
They have
I didn't
the
look into
same-
that.
They fell in the same category at the same time.
But this person is a registered voter. Don't registered voters have signatures on file?
Not always if they registered to vote online.
Oh, yeah. That's right, yeah. Yeah.
So nobody cured except these 2 of all these.
There were 3 total. Well, we had a 58% cure rate. I don't remember the exact number. There's 109 cure letters were sent out, and we have,
Okay, so over half of them
yes,
did cure. Okay,
yeah.
well, that's-
Ultimately, we totally had 3 of the no ref sig, and the state, we were able to cure 2 of them through looking through VREMS yesterday.
Good to know that at least it's over half.
have 2 ballots voted by someone other than the voter. And so on the signature line, or underneath the signature line, you can see the voter's name. And this particular person wrote their name down below. In the Kevin situation, Kevin Lyle is not registered to vote in Vrems. The second situation, the voter, Lorna Joliffe, is registered to vote, but she's registered to vote in Eagle River. And the name of for the ballot is not Lorna.
Okay.
So these are the 2 for ballot voted by someone other than voter.
If she lives in Eagle River, she got a ballot, but somebody else voted.
No, Eagle River is District 2, and this election was just for District 1.
Right, but
Could she have moved here and not would have changed?
Correct.
address? Yeah.
That's possible.
so she
But
probably received a ballot in District 12, but lived and registered.
She did not
to vote.
receive a ballot.
it's someone else's ballot that
She voted someone else's ballot, but this was only for District 1,
Oh.
and her voter register says she lives in District 2.
So she's not eligible to vote
Right.
in this election.
Right, I
Yeah.
was just trying to figure out how she got a ballot if she wasn't even.
We
Wasn't even
suspect
in
she
Eagle.
lives in this apartment that, and this ballot was delivered to her apartment, and so she voted, but the name on the ballot is not her.
And she
So she-
could have moved to Eagle River, or from.
From Eagle River to this apartment,
But failed to
but
update
didn't
her,
update
yeah.
her voter registration.
She didn't even read this because of Thomas Smith.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, and is she registered?
She
And
is
Lorna?
registered. Lorna is registered. She is registered in Eagle River.
Okay,
So
and
if she
so-
moved to this residence, her voter registration hasn't caught up to her yet.
Okay, and
This,
then she,
this person here,
So this person is registered to vote in the district. Kevin Lyle is printed down here. So, but he is not registered to vote at all in Alaska. He's not in France. The next set is 17 previous election ballot envelopes. And this code is used when a voter voted and returned a previous election's ballot. So it's a previous election envelope and a previous election's ballot. Of course, we're very close to the regular at this point, so we have
oh, so these are
17 of
April.
these, and we opened them all to confirm that it was, in fact, the April ballot inside of them.
Oh, okay.
Just in case somebody mixed up their ballots and envelopes.
It's like, oh, I get a second chance
Yeah.
to vote. Look at that.
well, was it advertised that much in the paper? I don't remember.
Is it what?
About, the special election for this. I don't
We did the same 2 advertisements in the newspaper, and I did the same number of press releases. I think the state's special primary was getting more coverage, probably rightfully so. It covered more people than our one little district. But once theirs was over, it certainly picked up. K2U came down and we did more on Facebook so that we didn't confuse voters.
Did you get any state ballots in any of these envelopes?
We did 5.
5 of them, okay. So what did you have to do with those?
We
ballots?
gave them back to the state.
You gave them to the state, yeah, okay. I was just curious. So, okay.
We got some from them too.
Hmm?
Did they give you 5? Oh, they gave you 5.
Yeah.
And you found quite a few state ballots in your deposit boxes.
We found
Probably hundreds, thousands.
I want to say like 1,200 state ballots. We knew it was going to happen. Right after the special election was called, we had our website set up, and people were coming in here saying, "None of your drop boxes are out." It said that your drop boxes were out. So we realized that people were Googling it and ours was popping up. So we took our webpage down to help them not find our drop boxes because we only had 5 and they're used to them being at Service and at South and in Girdwood. And so we pulled ours down and then we put it up when we absolutely had to. And we did receive a lot of the state's ballots. And then we came in on Saturday, June 11th, and closed the drop boxes and gathered everything, and then immediately reopened them for our own election so that the state could have a 8 p.m. cutoff. And we stamped them and gave them to them so that they could be counted. And I want to say it was 1,200 something.
They were actually in our drop boxes.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
You had mentioned that too, you guys did.
Yeah.
I don't know how we're going to rectify it. There has to be some way to get
Rectify law.
a situation where the people
But I don't think
I'd say the way to rectify it is for the state to use our drop boxes.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
There's nothing
basically Jamie saved how many,
balance.
right, she saved those people's votes for the state by being there at 8 o'clock. I mean, we paid people overtime to be there at 8 o'clock to empty the drop boxes so that those people's vote counted in the state election. If we hadn't have been there to do that, those ballots would not have counted because they would have been too late. Yeah.
Yeah, and I told that to Kevin Meyer. I said, you ought to use, I mean, here's going to be, 42% of Alaska's voters are in Anchorage. I said, use the boxes. It's a good thing. And if you can set up a system elsewhere in the state for collecting, good, do that.
Yeah.
As long as it's secure.
Well, we have 18 boxes, and in the 2020 election, they sent a box to Fairbanks and Kenai, and then they didn't deploy all of the other 18, but then they used many of the rest of them in Anchorage. And I think that's a good idea. They may have had one in Wasilla or Palmer, too. So the problem is that they thought that it was unfair because they didn't have them everywhere. And I guess I'm much more like you, Lauren. I'm thinking, say you're going to put them in the rail belt where the biggest population is, and make other arrangements in the bush if like use the clerks, have it go to the clerk's office. It won't be 24/7, but it still doesn't make sense to me not to use them when you could have.
It was very interesting to me that when I was looking through the rejection rate for the states, it was interesting that in those communities, there were very few of them that were received too late because of postmark. It seemed like in the outside communities, they were rejected because of no witness signatures, but they were received on time. And then it was, those closer where we have more mail options that were actually received too late.
You saw this was the state ballots in here with this one?
Oh, nope.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, there is.
They sent it all in.
Hey, saving 59 cents at that time. What is it, 60 cents now? Yeah. That was on June 13th.
June 13th,
Yeah.
so it was still too late for the state.
Thicker, that's why.
Signature. It appears to me that the voter wrote his name up in the return and maybe left it on the counter, and the other person living in the home marked an X and signed as the witness. So the voter did not sign, I don't believe.
There's a signature on file. I'm sure you pulled it up.
Yeah.
And
I believe it's attached.
Yeah.
these had opportunity to cure as well, right?
No.
Those ones are really a tough question for us, because here is the question. If you ask this voter to cure, you're sending it to the same place where someone possibly signed the ballot for them, and then are we encouraging or suborning perjury and asking them to do that? So it's a tough question for us, where we have some question about this ballot. So the code requires us to send cures for no sig match, no signature.
No reference signature.
And maybe no reference signature, but it doesn't require cures to be sent for anything else. So although we do, like if your ballot envelope is empty, or if there's 2 ballots in the envelope. So for the most part, we do send those, but we don't send them in those circumstances where we're worried that someone will perpetuate a fraud.
In this case, I don't know if everybody read it, but the witness is not at the household and was not a registered voter in the District 1 area.
Does the witness have to be a registered voter in?
No.
Those were some criteria that we set up with the observers at the last election. They wanted to object to all of the X signatures, and instead we met with them, reviewed the X signatures, and they had an agreement that they wouldn't object to any X signatures that were a voter in the same household as the voter, because they felt like husband is witnessing wife who may be ill or have an injury, or a son or a daughter or something, a caregiver. So they felt pretty comfortable about that, and those were always the one-offs. What they didn't feel comfortable with, and what we brought to you, were all of the ones where someone signed for, or one voter signed to, and we brought all of those to you, and you rejected all of them. So the answer is no, you don't have to be a registered voter to be signed as a witness. The code does say that if someone does sign as a witness, we can check to see if they're a registered voter, and we can check that their signature matches. So we check. It's not required though.
So that is all of the preliminarily rejected ballots that we have for you for this particular election. At this point, you are welcome to adjourn the work session, and then our official meeting starts at 5, when we'll start taking the motions to reject, for you guys to reject them.
Do you have a motion to adjourn then?
I move that we adjourn.
Do I have a second? I don't need a second.
Yeah, we don't need we don't do motions in work sessions, but.
All right, so we're adjourned at 2:55.